Всем здорово, народ, с вами канал Другие, меня все так же зовут Никита. Мы сегодня продолжаем проходить Thaumaturge. Уже давно с вами, ребят, не виделись, видос был записан давно. Но так как я болел, то я, соответственно, не мог записать ни видос, ничего, к сожалению, потому что у меня очень сильно болело горло, я не мог разговаривать. В общем, сегодня формат видео поменялся, видос будет очень длинный. Почему? Потому что сегодня я не буду озвучивать все моменты, которые происходили в игре. Вы будете смотреть диалоги сами. Поэтому, ребят, обязательно пишите в комментариях, как лучше, когда видосы короткие, и я просто говорю, что произошло, либо когда видосы длинные, но вы читаете информацию сами.
Yes, let his will be done. Begin.
Let's begin if everyone is ready. Would you all please take a seat? Ladies and gentlemen, by the power of my office vested in me by the grace of His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of all Russia, I hereby testify.
Je suis désolé. I just needed to quench my thirst. Alone, unfortunately. I didn't manage to.
Please don't pay them any mind.
Mr. Shulsky's last will and testament were prepared several years ago in the presence of Zaslav Fedorov, Esquire, that is, myself. My last will and testament recorded in the year of our Lord 1888. In the name of the Holy Trinity, Amen. Therefore, my first irrevocable wish is to appoint as executrix of this will my daughter, Ligia Shulska. Immediately after my death, an inventory shall be conducted in full accordance with the law. After completing the inventory, all my personal movables will be sold at public auction. And let the funds raised thereby be donated on the anniversary of my death to the beggars near that cemetery. The administration of the remainder of my fortune I leave, without restriction, to the person of my daughter Ligia.
I'm not even getting a teaspoon.
All movables and immovables relating to the family enterprise I entrust to the care and administration of my daughter. I do not prescribe a method of administering them, I merely offer her one piece of advice. I wish that the business should be conducted with modesty, prudence, and honesty, as I have conducted it my whole life.
A joker to the very end.
To my brother-in-law and oldest friend, Alexander Voronin, I wish to leave the following. My collection of muskets and 2 revolvers dating to the uprising in memory of our first meeting.
Stasio, I will have plenty to do in my retirement. Enjoy your retirement. Now, Mr. Fedorov, what did my father leave my mother?
Victor, be serious.
Nothing. There is a special item reflecting the absolute lack of any bequest to my former spouse, Nadia Fyodorovna Voronina. I would also like to come to the aid of my only son, Viktor Shulsky, by entrusting him with the use of my personal black grimoire, in the hope that he will be able to make good use of it. This is my last will and testament. Carry it out solemnly, though you may have found it burdensome. However, this last bequest poses a certain problem.
Yes, it certainly does. And what is that, may I ask?
I am not in possession of this grimoire. The late Mr. Shulsky used it up until his death, yet no one left it with me after his passing.
The grimoire. Could someone have taken it? Perhaps. In all that confusion?
But why would anyone want Papa's grimoire? An ordinary person won't.
A building? It collapsed on top of him? How? How did this happen?
It was a day like any other. Papa had gone for his habitual walk. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd take a stroll to get some space, as he put it.
How do you find our old stomping ground? Yes, I'm not too fond of this place either. This is where I had my last conversation with my father, just before I left. If you can call it a conversation. Hello?
I talk here? Do you hear me now? Victor? Victor, are you there?
Grigori? Yes.
Victor, where are you?
On the other end of the line, at home, where the telephone rang.
Incredible.
Something happened?
To me? No. I am telecommunicating with you to say I found lodgings here in Warsaw. If you need me, I'm by the cemetery. What number is it? Yes. 7 Powaskowska Street. Number 7 by cemetery. Powaskowska.
I'm glad. It's good to hear your voice.
It's good to hear you as well. Goodbye. I want to end now. What do I... like this? Wonderful device. Remarkable. Hello? Oh, and now?
Found anything yet about the grimoire? Is there any way I...
Yeah?
Yes?
What's next for you? You're in charge here now. Have you got some kind of grand scheme?
A grand scheme? Oh, for now, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Certain customers are unconvinced that a woman can handle running a business. What's worse, a woman without powers. You know what I mean. A thaumaturge at my side would shut them all up. After all, it's your heritage too.
I don't know anything about running a company, but if I can help in any way, you can count on me.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I trust the smoke doesn't bother you.
The trousers are an original style. Until now, I'd only seen women in trousers in the East.
First of all, they're practical. It's the 20th century. It's high time we started dressing comfortably.
You've always been brave, never afraid of anything or anybody. Like when Mother almost had a fit because you dumped my best tie in hot cocoa.
I didn't care that she was angry. I wanted to get you back for not wanting to play with me.
Because you were being too annoying.
You meant to say brave. By the way, Grażyna still makes cocoa every evening. You can conjure up the flavor of childhood if you want. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
You used to detest the smell of tobacco. You'd hold your breath going into Father's study.
That's true, but when I'd stay here, alone with Papa, and somehow over the years I got used to it. I don't know when I started copying him even.
Daddy's girl. You were always closer to him.
That's not true. I was just less rebellious than you, his Thaumaturge son. Now come on, what else is on your mind?
In Father's study, I found a trace of a woman that I couldn't identify.
Probably Svetlana Rumyantseva.
Who is she? And what does Father have to do with her?
Svetlana is a Russian aristocrat who travels with the Romanovs' court. I can only tell you she was a customer of Father's.
A customer? If you don't want to say, then don't. Where can I find her?
When she's in town, she stays at the Imperial Hotel.
She might know something that will help me find the grimoire.
Not so fast. To get in, you're going to need me and my connections. Svetlana is famous for her soirees where she hosts the crème de la crème of Warsaw.
What's a soiree?
How long did you say you lived with Mother in Paris? Just a party, if you like. Do you know what that is?
Very funny.
We could go together. How about you track down some evening clothes and I'll sort out the invitation. And I won't take no for an answer.
Sadly, you never give me a chance. Unfortunately, everything in my wardrobe is antediluvian. I need a tailor.
There's a shop at 11 Pruzhna Street that's fairly decent and quick. We also have barbers in Warsaw in case you want to do something about whatever you have growing on your head and face.
Please set my hair to rights.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I can't help noticing that you're the most tight-lipped Excuse me. Damn it. I forgot to turn the key. Sorry, what? I need some evening wear. Quick.
Good proportion.
Thank you.
Alterations won't take long.
Viktor Shulsky, 9 Green Square.
I'll send a messenger when I'm done. Now, I'd like to go to my bed.
I won't bother you.
All right.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I see you went to a barber. That's something at least.
Recently I met a bearded guy who's not especially fussy about his appearance. And yes, people welcome him everywhere with open arms anyway.
Maybe he's a natural charmer. I've heard that can get you into the Imperial even without a tailcoat.
Very funny.
Are you getting dressed so we can go, or have you changed your plans?
Yes, let's go and see if I do fit in.
In that case... Look at you. And here I worried I was the only one who... Very chic choice.
Thank you. You look fantastic.
Thank you. You think Papa would be mad that we're going to a party right after his funeral?
I hope so.
Victor.
He could have kept from losing the black grimoire. Are we ready?
Yes, the carriage is waiting.
Somewhat. Good evening.
Good evening.
Irina Orlova. This is Natalia Obolenskaya. And this... Irina is exaggerating. Nice to meet you.
The Governor General's daughter herself.
What can you tell us?
How are you enjoying yourselves?
We can't complain. Seeing as we're debutantes, we're getting...
Really?
Maybe you'll tell us something...
I've heard a certain secret. Do you want to hear it?
Come now, we won't tell anyone.
Or maybe I shouldn't.
Do you like being a tease?
Forgive me, ladies, for teasing you like this. Here's the secret.
Come on, we're dying to know.
Someone was recently playing with the lock on one of the gilded cages, wondering what would happen if all the birds escaped captivity. And I know for certain it was one of you.
Sophia, that sounds like you. Admit it.
And now what will happen to us, Mr. Shulsky?
In exchange for my discretion, I need another secret of yours. That's the only way to keep everyone in check.
What should I choose?
Our fathers don't know we're here. There you are.
How naughty. None of your fathers know?
None, especially not Sophia's. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let her come.
I'm very satisfied with this trade.
And what now?
I need to slip away for a moment.
We should go as well. We've really forgotten ourselves around you.
That's nice to hear, but I understand. The soiree won't wait.
I hear Rumyantseva has invited a real medium.
Will there be ghosts? That I'd like to see.
What did we come here for? These soirees are...
Good evening. May I?
Please, we're not discussing anything consequential.
You keep on worrying about yourselves. I intend to make the most...
See, I told you he was in love. Miss Scowan is out of your league, my friend.
To say nothing of her father.
Old Scowan and I are practically on first-name terms now. You'll see.
I'm sure.
So, one eye-catching girl has already got an admirer. What does that leave us, Maxime?
Not much. The dull, the silly, or, well, the old.
En parlant de Ligia Shulska, she just passed this way.
Pigs will fly before someone fancies her.
She'd actually prefer Sophia Scowan, according to what I've heard. Well, what do you think?
My name is Viktor Shulsky.
Well, there we have it.
And I don't like what I just heard, especially about my sister.
And, what are you going to do about it?
Pardon me, gentlemen. I promised that I would be well behaved tonight.
Lunatic.
Mr. Shulsky?
I didn't expect to see you here, of all places.
You don't know how very flattering that is. And what brings you to the Imperial?
The cream of Warsaw society is here, so I thought it would be worth showing my face.
With a name like yours, I'm sure you fit right in. After all, someone must have invited you.
I'm not worthy. My sister brought me along out of pity, I think.
And so, Miss Ligia is here too.
Why do you ask?
No reason. What are you hoping for this evening?
Who knows? Maybe I'm keeping an eye out for the future Mrs. Shulska.
Best of luck. You'll need it, since Ligia ended up with the entire inheritance.
My sister didn't inherit everything.
That's right, in fact. After all, Stanisław had his little black magic book. But I don't see you care.
2 is more than I can carry. I left it at home.
Understandable.
And what are you doing here, Mr. Konieczkin?
I'm passing the time.
Ah, curious hobby.
I'm simply interested in people.
A doctor, thaumaturge, or policeman could say the same.
Your interest flatters me. Who knows? Maybe the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, and someday we'll even be friends.
How well did you know my tree?
We enjoyed talking and lending one another a hand.
If I may, there's one question niggling at me. How did you get so many scars?
Why do you ask?
I've heard that Russian officers in training have drunken duels with sabers after hours.
No. A very peculiar custom, if that's true.
So where did those scars come from?
I've led an interesting life.
Who did you say you were to my father?
A trusted acquaintance. I supported him with good advice. Though truth be told, he rarely needed it. Your father had a gift for making good decisions.
Which of my father's decisions would those be?
Ones that were good for your family. Perhaps we'll have the chance to return to this another time. Goodbye, Mr. Shulsky.
Yes, I'm sure.
Maybe that's enough. What do you want?
The trick with entering someone's head. I know one person who can do that.
You're not much of a thaumaturge if you can't. Have you come here to torment me? Unmask me?
I don't see any fun in unmasking you.
So what do you want? Flattery will get you nowhere.
Madame, you're being impolite. What about a little competition? We'll see who wins.
I'll pass.
I think your idea of pretending to be a medium is fantastic.
It sounds like I impress you.
How many people know?
Is that a threat?
I noticed a wild salutator here. I understand your being here has something to do with him in particular.
Keep your nose out of this.
Why?
Because I'm warning you.
What do you know about this salutator? Do you know its name?
Don't you?
A name doesn't tell us much anyway. All that matters is picking out the person in this crowd with a flaw.
I know perfectly well who carries the flaw. Another reason for you to stay out of it.
That's not such a ladylike tone, madame. Maybe we should just let the best one catch that salutator.
You mean yourself?
The person with the flaw attended the seance, right? So I'm on the right track.
Have you finished?
So should we finish up?
That would be best. And listen to me carefully, Mr. Whatever your name is.
Shulsky, but you can call me Victor.
Now, Mr. Shulsky, you will vanish like a bad dream, and I will get back to work.
Gentlemen, meet my brother.
Viktor Shulsky.
The last Shulsky to wear trousers. You don't know that. Miss Ligia could yet produce an heir to the fortune.
Maybe even with me, if she doesn't tell my wife.
But let's talk like men. You intend to take over your father's company, correct?
First, I suggest you mind your own business. Your marriage, for instance. Perhaps Louisa isn't the ninny you take her for.
I beg your pardon?
Hasn't it occurred to you that when you leave her at home, she might also take advantage of her solitude?
What are you suggesting?
You've got a cuckold's horns. Was I being too subtle?
I suppose it's true what they say about you.
Yes? What's that?
You've lost your mind.
Thank you. I've worked long and hard at that.
Good luck with your business, miss.
I almost feel sorry for them.
Have I crossed the line?
Nonsense. Any progress with Svetlana?
The general says to him, "Tell us something funny." Then Bautsky replies, "General, why don't you shoot a cannon first?"
That's a good one. I'll have to tell it tomorrow at the Orloffs. Who might this be joining our conversation?
You know, sir, your face looks familiar to me.
My name is Viktor Szulski.
Ah, yes, I can see something in your eyes. I was sorry to hear about your father.
I'll see you next time, darling. Wonderful party. See you there.
I think I've offended the creme de la creme of Warsaw.
This is hardly the creme de la creme. How do you find my soirée?
I admit I'm getting reacquainted with the social scene.
You spent a long time traveling, didn't you?
15 years. Over that time, I got used to harsher surroundings.
Believe me, drawing rooms can be just as dangerous as untamed steppes. You've met Anastasia and Marina. What about the others?
I've already met several distinguished guests. Madame Samira definitely stands out.
She is exceptional, isn't she? Her presence is the crowning glory of the evening. Has anyone else caught your eye?
Ivan Konieczkin, for instance. Apparently, he knew my father.
How remarkable. I wasn't aware. Konieczkin is something of a secretive person. And have you yet had occasion to meet the debutants of the season?
I'll be sure to seek them out.
This evening, Sofia Skowan herself is to grace us with her presence.
Well, well.
I suggest you move quickly. The competition is fierce.
How is it, being part of the Tsar's court?
It is a blessing and a curse. Forgive me if I do not elaborate.
The crux of the matter is that I'm here because of my father. You knew him.
That doesn't sound like a question. Of course, I was his customer. I truly am sorry for you, both of you. The death of someone close is always a dreadful blow. Please accept my condolences.
Svetlana Petrovna, I must insist. Can you tell me something more about my father?
Mr. Szulski, I assure you we have the most delectable vodka. Besides that, I warmly encourage you to join Madame Samira's séance. It will be an unforgettable experience. I wonder, is that truly everything our soirée can offer you?
I've got no choice but to suffer through tonight.
No need to mince words.
I felt something. Where is it? I saw one of your posters. You look different in it.
Really? The illustration doesn't reflect reality.
How should I take that? No one warned me that I should get in costume for the party.
I beg your pardon.
I'm just noting that you stand out among these boring guests.
Impudent.
Just a bit uncouth, I'd say. Do you know the hostess well?
Will you leave me alone if I say I don't?
No.
Svetlana Petrovna invited me, and I am doing my best to meet her expectations. Let's keep out of one another's way.
Whose soul are you summoning tonight, dear madame?
I only know which one I'd prefer to banish. Shoo!
Maybe my dead father's. If you manage that, it would spare me a lot of trouble.
Now we'll never know.
I'll disappear.
Sometimes it's good to let things go for your own.
That isn't a very subtle threat.
Sometimes I'm not very subtle when I want something.
I respect that. I was looking for you.
Do you smoke, Mr. Shulsky?
I've quit.
In light of our approaching conversation, why don't we dispense with the pleasantries? Call me Svetlana.
Victor.
Ask.
You two had an affair.
Two grown-up, lonely people found momentary comfort in each other's arms. But romance wasn't behind that relationship. It was just that we were both looking in the same direction.
I didn't have the chance to get to know him as a person, much less one who'd show such emotion.
You mean love? That?
Was it love?
I miss him, that's all.
What do you mean by looking in the same direction? The burned note. Who sent it? I only sensed underhanded kindness.
Da, the Ochrana. I don't know which one of them exactly, if that's what you're asking. I've worked hard at it.
When did you receive this note?
A few weeks ago, back before your father.
I see. That large travel chest. You changed your mind.
About whether or not to pack. Right then, I wanted to escape badly, but that would have had its own consequences. In this game of false appearances, I'm the best.
I still don't know how this lovely note ended up in your hands. But in addition, I found a lovely strings of pearls, and on it, your feelings of guilt.
Your power is terrifying. Do you know that?
Your feelings of guilt. Did they have something to do with the Romanov court?
With the whole empire, Ruski mir im podawaj. We, the establishment, perceive the need for change. We want reform. The Colossus is already teetering, but if it falls... La guillotine, mon chéri. But I want to live, Victor. Ideally, closer to the west.
Tsarina Alexandra gave you those pearls. You two are close.
I am her confidant. I could call her my friend. I see how much she devotes to her family and the nation.
Yet, something has changed. Where was my father in all this?
Willingly or otherwise, he was part of the establishment that wanted change and could see revolution before it arrived.
The Ochrana knew about you, hence the note.
They must have noticed something. Isn't it time you told me why you really came to my soirée?
What do you intend to do now?
Nothing. The soirées will continue. I myself shall manage.
Do you think the Ochrana killed my father?
Your father was crushed by a building. I don't think that's how the Ochrana works.
Perhaps you're right. I hoped you might know something about the Black Grimoire. My father left it to me in his will, but the grimoire has gone missing.
No. And the collapsed building? Have you been there?
Not yet.
However, how hard it is, you should check there. It will give you more understanding than all the investigators put together. My dear boy, I know nothing about Stanisław's book. I'm sorry, but I can't help you there. But I will not let you leave empty-handed. I strongly believe but there's one place you ought to visit. What you find there belongs to you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for listening.
Venice. Don't run away.
Splendid ladies, distinguished gentlemen, the hour is at hand. With lights dimmed and the curtains drawn, the souls of the dead slowly gather among us. On their command, I will give the chosen among you a tarot card as your invitation to the table.
For you, sir?
Fool. Our dear madame is fooling around and thinks you can scare me off. I'm done wasting time on this.
Let us gather in secret ritual. Let's not keep the souls waiting too long. Let us also make every effort together not to spoil their visit.
Mr. Shulsky, may I have a word?
How can I help?
My friends and I are just playing Truth Order, and now it's my turn. Won't you dazzle me with your powers?
Your father would not be thrilled about you playing games with the Thaumaturge.
Maybe that's precisely the point. To keep violating his wishes?
First, please tell me the rules of this game.
Of course, I'm being silly. After all, you've been away a long time. It's simple. Each player in turn must admit a truth or accept a dare. Anyone who doesn't must drop out of the game and thereby loses. And I don't like to lose.
I would guess that to you, a dare would be the lesser of two evils.
How very perceptive. It involves finding out my comrades' secrets, Irina, Maxim, or Sergei. The trick is that you're cleverer at it than I am.
I accept.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Let me see what I can find. Will any secret do?
Any. I'll wait anxiously for your return.
I'll take a look around.
They're getting impatient. What have you found out?
Miss Irina would like to get to know Maxim better, but she keeps hesitating.
What? She never told me. And what does our dear Maxim think of that?
Maxim only has one thing on his mind. Miss Irina.
Oh, I knew it!
Oh, I was wondering where you'd gone off to.
You know Sergei, don't you?
We're already acquainted.
Mr. Shulsky and I have completed my extra difficult dare together.
At your service.
Now time for truth. Are you seeing anyone?
Maybe we should not reveal all our secrets to one another right away.
Mr. Shulsky, our time is up. Sophia and I must leave for the seance. Madame is waiting.
Thank you once more.
See you. Therefore, Veles chased Sofia Skawan and her flaw here. She seemed like such an innocent girl, didn't she? It's no coincidence she focused on me. After all, old Skawan hates Thaumaturges. The little scam. If I want to discern that little schemer's flaw, I'll have to join that sepulchral table. Either her scheming or her jealous knight in shining armor will help me identify her flaw. I hope her father doesn't find out. Is this seat free?
The energy is dissipating. Ladies and gentlemen, I am losing contact with his souls.
Well, it was the souls that chose me after all.
It's true. The gentleman has a card.
Let us lay our hands on the table. Let us allow our minds to liberate themselves from our bodies toward the edges of the world as you know it.
Are you thinking of someone exceptional whom you wish to summon?
Leave her alone.
Sergei, this has nothing to do with you.
Dear guests, I implore you, the souls!
Is that jealousy I hear?
Stand here, right now!
I accept the challenge right now.
Focus on someone you want to make contact with.
Would a duel make you happy, miss? Between this poor man and me?
Are you all going to fight now?
Choose a location.
A duel over me would be truly beyond exciting.
Yes, I think so too.
Don't you dare! You were supposed to stay away. I was supposed to leave here with Veles. All that work for nothing.
Spare yourself the trouble. It was a fair fight.
But I don't intend to hold you here. Truth be told, I even feel sorry for you.
What does that mean?
Rid yourself of the pride you've got within. Otherwise, it will lead you to the gallows.
Enough of this. There's a Sadit waiting for me.
Enjoy him, fool. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this evening the souls were particularly restless.
The souls have now told me everything I needed to hear.
And you, sir, what can you tell us?
Sergei, please wait a moment.
Mr. Shulsky, there are only so many humiliations a gentleman can tolerate. I have reached my limit. Congratulations to you both.
I can see I won't convince you. I have to explain myself. It was me who provoked the whole situation. Sergei didn't have anything to do with it.
But what was all this for?
What's going on here? The guests are complaining, and with good cause, I see. We're terminating this disaster.
One moment. First, Mr. Shulsky will explain himself.
I'm part of the upper crust, just like you. Could it be that plotting suddenly isn't much fun when it's targeted at you?
Have you destroyed me for the sake of a bit of fun?
Sophia, not everything revolves around you.
How dare you!
Young lady, we will gladly explain this in the forecourt. Will the gentleman with a book be leaving peacefully, or should we show him out?
You're going to have to escort me out of here.
I hoped you'd say that, bookseller.
Victor, don't scare me like that.
Mr. Shulsky, are you all right?
I think it's time for us to go.
I'll snug us a carriage.
You'll have a hard time at this hour. I'll drop you off.
See, you can always count on Mr. Konieczki.
Victor. Thank you. That's very polite.
На этом, ребят, хочу сказать всем спасибо большое за просмотр этого видеоролика. Если вы досмотрели его до конца, то вообще вам большое спасибо. Обязательно ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии, подписывайтесь на мой канал, переходите в описание, там есть ссылочки на все мои видеоролики. Увидимся, ребят, с вами в следующих видосиках, в следующих сериях. Всем, соответственно, пока.